Hello everyone. Again I am back with a new video on my channel Awesome Learning by Mrs. Mriga Chibber, and today in this video I am going to talk about non-Mendelian inheritance. So what are actually non-Mendelian inheritances? See, children, in the last video, when I was discussing about Mendel's law, like law of segregation and law of dominance, I told you that Mendel said that there will be no blending of traits or characters because the alleles or the factors segregate at the time of gamete formation. Okay, so this was Mendel's law of inheritance. Okay, but sometimes when you see here, when Mendelian inheritance, which has a pattern, Mendelian inheritance has a pattern. And what is the pattern? The pattern is that the inheritance in which traits will segregate or they will separate while the formation of gametes is taking place. But here, when Mendelian inheritance do not follow this pattern of segregation, when they do not follow this pattern of segregation, that means the traits do not segregate according to Mendel law, the law which was given by Mendel. What was the law? That Mendel said that alleles will or the factors will segregate while the gametes are formed. If this does not happen, if the traits do not segregate, these laws describe these are the non-Mendelian inheritance. They are said to be non-Mendelian inheritances. These laws describe the inheritance of traits linked to single gene on chromosome in the nucleus. So this will be discussing all these things we will be discussing now. So I just wanted to show you what are non-Mendelian inheritances. So again, just to pose some stress on these three words, that non-Mendelian inheritances mean those traits which do not follow Mendel's law. And what was Mendel's law? The law was law of segregation, which said that traits will segregate during the formation of gametes. If this law is not being followed, then we say that it is non-Mendelian inheritance. So there are few types of non-Mendelian inheritance. You can see first is incomplete dominance, then we is codominance, then multiple allelism, polygenic inheritance, and pleiotropy. So all these come under the topic non-Mendelian inheritance, which we will be discussing here one by one. So first of all, we will be discussing about incomplete dominance. So as you see, let me bring out incomplete dominance. Yes. So as in your NCRT also, you see when experiments on peas were repeated using other traits in other plants, it was found that sometimes the F1 had a phenotype that did not resemble either of the two parents and was in between the two. So this was not expected by Mendel, because what Mendel said was, Mendel said in his law of dominance, that one character will express in F1 generation, right? Mendel said that one character will express in F1 generation, and that character which will express in F1 generation will be the dominant character. This was a simple thing which we have studied now and we understood. But now what happened when he started doing more and more of the experiments on other traits, what he found was that in the F1 phenotype, he got few progenies or the few plants which were not resembling the characters of the parents. Rather, they were in between the two. They were in between the two. That means a few plants were not matching the dominant parent and nor the recessive parent. Rather, it was a mixture of both of them. But just now in the previous video, we said that there is no blending, So that means either Mendel was wrong or the results now are wrong. So we got confused. Now you see here the inheritance of flower color in the dog flower. Please underline this. Dog flower is also known as snapdragon or Antherinum spices. This is the scientific name. Though, so this experiment was done on dog flower, and what was he finding out? He understand incomplete dominance. It was a good example of incomplete dominance. Why? In a cross between true breeding flower, capital R's. Now, because the color of the flower is red, and because true breeding, why true breeding? That means homozygous. True breeding means homozygous, and red, so we took capital R as the alphabets for red, and true breeding white. So this was also true breeding, that means homozygous, that is why two capital R's, and white, so it was represented by small r. So when we crossed these two flowers, the F1 generation, we were expecting the F1 generation to be red only. We were thinking that F1 generation will be red flower but heterozygous red. That means capital R and small r, but they should be red. So F1 generation RR was pink. This was a very weird thing to find out because we were not expecting this color. We were thinking that F1 generation will give us red flowers, though the red flowers will be capital R and small r, that is heterozygous. So this was a this result was gave us a hint that something else is happening here. Now when this pink flowers, so he took what he took two flowers. When these pink flowers were self pollinated, so we got F2 generation. And what was the result here? The result was we got one red, two pink, and one white. Okay, let me show you here. See, dog flower. And we could also this was also shown by Mirabilis jalapa, that is 4 o'clock plant. So you should know these names, so that which plant will show incomplete dominance. The two examples, one is the snapdragon or the dog flower, and the other one is the Mirabilis or jalapa, that is 4 o'clock plant. So what are the results we are getting? See, this was the result that we are getting here. See, red flower was, and red homozygous, because all of them, both of them are capital R, was crossed with white homozygous. Both are smaller. When these both were crossed, the gametes, what will be the gametes? We will get two gametes, capital R and capital R. And here also we will get two gametes, small r, small r. So when we crossed these gametes, we were expecting that the result will be red flower, but this will be the genotype. But instead of that, the result we are getting here is pink. That means what? The gametes which were received by this flower, it is receiving capital R also and small r also, and both have tried to express. Half of them are capital R, half of them are small r, and both of them have tried to express here. See, that is why the color was neither red nor white. The color was pink. Now, when we self-crossed these parents, see, when we self-crossed, we took two parents, small r, capital R, small r. When we self-crossed these two parents, one, this was female, this was male. So we are getting the F2 generation. And what was F2 generation? I am getting one red. And what is the genotype? Homozygous red. One white. Homozygous, see? And these are pink, which are heterozygous. That means in this case the flower is red only when both the alleles are capital R. Here the flower is white only when both the alleles are small r. And here they are pink because both of them have tried to express. Capital R and small r both have tried to express itself. That means incomplete. Capital R could not show its full dominance. Capital R could not show its full dominance on small r. And because it could not show full dominance on small r, so small r also was able to express itself. And then this is known as the case of incomplete dominance. That means here capital R was incompletely dominant. See, what are the phenotypic ratios? I'm only bothered about the result. I'm not bothered about the genes, what type of genes. So phenotypic ratio is 1 is to 2 is to 1. That means I got one red flower, two pink flowers and one white. And what is the genotypic ratio? Same, 1 is to 2 is to 1, because I got one flower with this gene. I got two flower with these genes or alleles, and I got one flower with these alleles. This is the genotypic ratio. That means both are same. Thus, phenotypic and genotypic ratios in incomplete dominance are same. And this means that capital R was not completely dominant over small r. Okay, so pea plants also show incomplete dominance in some traits. There are 7 traits that we study about pea plants. So few of the traits, so pea can also be an example of incomplete dominance. So I gave you 3 examples of incomplete dominance, that is your snapdragon, then your 4 o'clock plant, and this one pea can also be an example of incomplete dominance. So same thing here in your NCERT, you see here explanation of the concept of dominance. What exactly is dominance? Why are some alleles dominant and some recessive? This is a very good question. So to tackle these questions, we must understand that what a gene does. Every gene, you have to underline this, every gene, as you know by now, contains the information to express a particular trait. As I told you, for every trait there is a gene. Color of your eye, there is a gene. Color of your hair, there is a gene. Shape of your nose, there is a gene. So in diploid organism, there are 2 copies of each gene. So for every gene, we get one copy from father and the other copy from mother. So that is why they are in pairs. And every gene has a pair of alleles. Now these 2 alleles need not always be identical. It's not necessary that both of them are homozygous. Zaruri nahi hai na that they will be homozygous. They can be heterozygous also. So one of them may be different due to some changes that may have undergone, okay, which modifies, and because one of them is different from the other, this will modify the information that particular allele contains. Let us take an example of gene that contains the information for producing an enzyme. Now this is very good example. I will show you this. Let me give me 1 second. Just I want to show you this. Now see here, every gene contains information to express a particular trait, right? Now, in heterozygotes, there are 2 types of alleles. I just told you. There are 2 types of alleles, like capital T and small t. Now, unmodified or normal functioning allele, which is a normal allele, which is unmodified, it is generally dominant and represents the original phenotype, because it has been just carried forwarded from parent to the offspring. It has not been modified. Okay. Now the modified one is one which is generally recessive. See here, alleles of brown eye color is a unmodified allele. This is an unmodified allele. But if someone has a blue eye, then that means that the color of the eye has been modified. The allele which is representing color of the eye, it has been modified. That is why the eye color has changed. Okay, so see here, unmodified allele, this is unmodified allele, both are the pairs, they are in pairs. So this is homozygous gene pair. But if one is unmodified and the other one is modified, then what are we getting? Heterozygous gene pair. And if both of them are modified, then we get again homozygous gene pair. But this modified will be recessive, because just now we have said that modified is generally recessive and unmodified are generally representing the dominant ones. Okay, now to explain this again, see example. They consider, this is what they have just told you in your NCERT also here on this page. That example, consider a gene that contains information for producing an enzyme. Suppose there is a gene, and due to that gene, this enzyme is being produced. Suppose the name of the enzyme is A. So normal allele of that gene will produce a normal enzyme. Okay, normal will produce a normal enzyme. But if the allele has been modified due to some reason, so what will happen? There will be 3 probabilities. Because the allele has been modified, so now this allele will produce an enzyme. Now that enzyme can be normal, it can be normal, or it can be less efficient, or this modified allele can produce an enzyme which will be non-functional. Matlab, the enzyme will be produced, but there will be no function of this enzyme. Or this modified allele will not at all produce anything. So we will study all the possibilities, that when the allele was normal, a normal allele is doing a normal work. What is the normal work? It is producing a normal enzyme. But if the allele has been modified, अब अगर modify हुआ है तो modify कुछ भी हो सकता है ना, अच्छा भी हो सकता है, बुरा भी हो सकता है. So if modified allele is fine, it is though it is modified, but still it is producing a normal enzyme. Very good. Though it has been modified, but it is producing a normal enzyme, no issues. Or it can produce an enzyme which is less efficient now. Or the modified allele has produced an enzyme which has no function at all. Or this has produced nothing, no enzyme at all. So you see, in this case, modified allele will produce the same phenotype like unmodified allele. Means what is the phenotype? जो normal allele जो भी बना रहा था, modified allele भी वही phenotype दे रहा है, मतलब normal काम कर रहा है. ठीक है, चाहे वो अनमॉडिफाइड ने बनाया तो भी यही एंजाइम बनाया, और मॉडिफाइड ने बनाया तो भी यही एंजाइम बनाया. तो हम कहेंगे अरे चाहे अनमॉडिफाइड आ जाए चाहे मॉडिफाइड आ जाए कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, क्योंकि एंजाइम तो सेम ही बन रहा है और सेम एंजाइम सेम काम कर रहा है. लेकिन अगर अनमॉडिफाइड अलील जो एंजाइम बना रहा था और जिस एफिशिएंसी से वो काम करता था, अगर मॉडिफाइड में उसकी थोड़ी सी एफिशिएंसी कम हो गई है, तो हमें लगेगा ना कि हाँ यार ये मॉडिफाई क्यों हो गया. होता नॉर्मल आता तो ज्यादा बेटर होता, राइट. Thus modified is equivalent to unmodified here. यहाँ पर दोनों की इक्वालिटी बन जाती है, बिकॉज दोनों नॉर्मल एंजाइम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. But here in this case, phenotype will be dependent only on the functioning of the unmodified. Now, if this modified allele is producing an enzyme, but this enzyme has no function, this enzyme has no function. So, what will be the effect of this enzyme allele in the person? मतलब अगर किसी इंसान के अंदर ये वाला अलील आ गया और ये अलील आने के बाद उसको एंजाइम तो बन रहा है बॉडी में पर कोई काम नहीं कर रहा, तो फिर उस पर्सन को कोई ना कोई तो डेफिशिएंसी होगी ना कोई तो प्रॉब्लम होगी, क्योंकि एंजाइम बन रहा है पर एंजाइम नॉन फंक्शनल है. और या फिर एंजाइम ही नहीं बन रहा तो भी उसको प्रॉब्लम होगी, राइट. So here unmodified produces enzyme and modified allele produces an enzyme, but it has no function. And here it produces an enzyme, but here it will produce no enzyme at all. So I hope I am clear with the concept of dominance and also the previous topic that we did, incomplete dominance. Thank you.